Good evening. Welcome to the workshop session of the Mayor and City Council of the City of College Park. I'm Mayor Bianca Motley Broom. We have a quorum present with council members Karn, Arnold, and Gay, and so we'll get started at this time. Madam Clerk, well, at this time is 6:02 p.m. Madam Clerk?
First agenda item is discussion on a special event permit for Pilates on the Green by Peachy Pear on July 25th, 2026 at Barrett Park from 8 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. This item is being requested by Queenie Brown, Deputy City Clerk. This event will be located in Ward 1.
Hello, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and Council.
Good evening, Ms. Brown. How are you?
Good, how are you all?
Doing
So
well.
as stated, this is for the Peachy Pear. They are a duo women group of College Park natives. They are trying to host a Pilates on the Green at Barrett Park. Everything was included in the packet as far as their setup. Fire is okay with one EMS being on present. Outside of that, I have no further information. I do have one of the duo here, Miss Haley. She does work for us, so happy we chose her. She chose us to host her event. So if you have any questions, Miss Haley is here.
All right. Thank you. We'll start with Councilmember Karn.
All right, glad to have you coming on board here. This is the first one you've done with us?
Yes, it'll be the first event in College Park.
So is this a free event for everybody, or is it members only, or how does it work?
So it'll be a paid event because we do have to cover the cost of everything. So food and drinks, all the things, stage setup, small stage setup. But yeah, it'll be paid.
Okay, what's the cost?
We're thinking $10 to $15, nothing too crazy.
Okay, all right, sounds good.
With a max of 35 people.
A max? Okay, got it, all right.
Councilmember Arnold.
I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Councilmember Gay.
No questions.
Councilmember McKenzie.
No question.
All right.
Excited about it.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Next agenda item, discussion on a special event permit for the College Park Reunion Committee to hold the College Park annual Coming Home Reunion at Charles E. Phillips Park on September 5th, 2026. This item is being requested by Queenie Brown, Deputy City Clerk. This item is presented by Calvin Rainey. This event will be located in Ward 4.
Yes, so as stated, this is a event for the past 30 plus years.
20, here in 24.
24 years. So I said that this has been an event that's happening for the past 5 years. I've been here. This is pretty standard. Setup will be the night before. Everything has been included in your packets. They're looking for roughly 2,500 people or less. Fire, PD, and everyone is on board with this event. I do have Mr. Rainey here if anyone has any questions for him or myself.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. Councilmember McKenzie.
No, we've already spoken about it, and I am going to talk to you more about some things that we can do to assist you with this year.
Fine, thank you
in
so
the
much.
upcoming year. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Karn.
All right, great event as always. Save me a plate.
Councilmember Arnold.
No questions. I'm looking forward to it.
Councilmember Gay.
No questions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Looking forward to it.
Thank you all.
Agenda item number 3 is Leadership Clayton Class Group 2 presentation. This item is sponsored by Councilwoman Tracy Arnold.
Councilmember Arnold.
I am actually going to step down and go to the podium so I can be with my classmates.
Okay.
Good evening. I am Tracy Arnold, Councilwoman for the City of College Park, Ward 3, and I'm also a member of Leadership Clayton 2026. And today I am joined by my classmates. I will let them introduce themselves after I give a little background on our project and the support that we're asking from the City of College Park. So it should be no surprise that the south side of Ward 3 is one of the City of College Park's most diverse, dynamic, and strategically located communities. Anchored by Godby Road, Riverdale Road, and West Fayetteville Road corridors, the area serves a gateway between College Park, Clayton County, and Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. Home to a mix of established neighborhoods, apartment communities, seniors, young professionals, and families, the South Side reflects the rich diversity and vibrancy that makes College Park unique. A defining characteristic of Ward 3 is that it is the only ward in College Park that spans 2 counties. While the north side of the ward is located in Fulton County, the south side is located in North Clayton County. This unique distinction has inspired Ward 3's motto, "One city, 2 counties, endless possibilities." The slogan embodies the ward's ability to leverage the strengths, partnerships, and opportunities available through both counties while maintaining a unified community identity. The South Side benefits from its proximity to major transportation corridors, the Airport Employment Center, regional transit access, and a growing network of businesses and community services. Residents also enjoy access to educational enrichment programs, food assistance initiatives, senior services, youth development opportunities, and recreational activities designed to enhance quality of life for all ages. Recent investments in beautification streetscape improvements, public art, environmental sustainability, and community engagement have strengthened neighborhood pride and fostered a great sense of connection among residents. Recognizing the challenges facing some of our most vulnerable neighbors, community leaders and partners have also focused on addressing issues related to housing insecurity and homelessness. As a part of my participation in Leadership Clayton Class of 2026, our community impact project, Lather and Load, as you can see on our shirts, is focused on providing much-needed laundry, hygiene, and supportive services to the unhoused population throughout Clayton County. This effort addresses a critical regional need that directly impacts residents, businesses, and quality of life within Ward 3 and the city of College Park, while promoting dignity, health, and pathways to stability. As growth and investment continues, the Southside Ward 3 is increasingly recognized as a community of opportunity, where residents, businesses, nonprofit organizations, faith-based partners, and local governments work together to create a stronger future. One city, 2 counties, endless possibilities. This simple phrase captures the spirit of Ward 3, a community uniquely positioned to bridge regions, build partnerships, and create opportunities for generations to come. And so I am so proud to stand with these ladies today. We have a couple of gentlemen. I'm not sure if they walked in the door yet, but the next voice that you'll hear from today will be Ms. Brandy Cousin-Sims. She will give you an update on our project and give you more insights on how we can work together, the City of College Park, to support our residents in Clayton County. Thank you.
So thank you. Good evening, Mayor, council members, and community leaders. I am joined here with Ms. Kira Harris-Braggs, Ms. Shay Peoples, and Ms. Jessica Hill. And my name is Brandy Cousin-Sims, and I am here on behalf of Fresh Hope to share a project your very own councilwoman, along with her peers and Leadership Clayton cohort, has been helping to shape over the past several months. This initiative reflects not just leadership, but the collective commitment of a group of emerging leaders who saw a gap in our community and decided to build a solution together. We wanted College Park to see the work we have been doing behind the scenes and the impact it's projected to make. But before I describe our project, I'd like to share just a brief story. So Mr. Parr, a graduate of Clayton County Veterans Treatment Court, chose accountability and recovery after overcoming personal challenges. As part of his graduation requirement, he completed a community service project that provided mobile showers and hygiene kits to 22 unhoused individuals in Clayton County. Mr. Parr's story is a reminder that hygiene is not a luxury. It's a lifeline. And it's stories like his that inspired our Leadership Clayton group to take action. So Fresh Hope Lather and Load is a mobile shower and laundry unit designed to restore dignity, improve hygiene access, and connect residents to stabilizing services. At this stage, the unit has not been built, and we are focused on building the support needed to make it possible through funding, through partnership, and creative solutions. We are seeking funding and sponsorship support, exploring ideas and partnerships to secure the mobile unit and bring the concept to life. We are raising awareness among community leaders, funders, and potential sponsors, and securing donated supplies. And the impact reaches far beyond access to showers and laundry. This effort has the potential to restore dignity, reduce preventable emergency room visits, increase referrals to housing, ID recovery, and mental health services, improve school attendance for families living in motels and cars, and strengthen employment readiness. So you may ask, why does this matter to College Park in North Clayton County? So College Park shares both Clayton County and Fulton County. With overlapping populations, you share the same challenges. Families move between our counties, students cross county lines, and the economic hardship doesn't stop at a border. When we stabilize families in every part of Clayton County, we strengthen the entire region, including College Park and Fulton County. And as we look ahead, our long-term vision is to scale this model to other counties, and Fulton can be a natural next step. The needs are similar, the communities are connected, and the opportunity for impact is significant. To bring this vision to life, it will take strong partnership across Clayton County nonprofits, faith-based organizations, corporations, grantors, and other utilities and authorities. And because College Park has a deep commitment to community, we also see your city as a potential partner in helping to move this vision forward. We are also grateful to have already secured donated laundry from True Detergent, a Black-owned business in College Park, Georgia. So before we talk about partnership, we do want to hear from you. From your vantage point as leaders in College Park with constituents in North Clayton County, do you see mobile hygiene services as a necessity for your residents? I am asking you that question. Okay, I see a thumbs up. Yes. So your insights help shape how we plan for future expansion. So as we want to outline, our first phase is centered on securing partnerships and funding in Q1, Q2 of 2026. And our phase 2 will focus on pilot and proof of concept through our Fresh Hope Days we have scheduled for July 11th and August 15th, and on October the 10th, 2026, in recognition of World Homeless Day. Fresh Hope Days are days where we will rent a mobile shower and laundry unit to show what this could look like long-term. We will invite residents, individuals, to take advantage of this free and needed service. And then in phase 3, our goal is to have our own unit, expand and sustain the effort during National Homelessness Awareness Month in November 2026 and beyond. Because the mobile unit has not yet been built, we are currently seeking regional partners who believe in this model and can help secure funding, equipment, even ideas, a mobile unit, and sweat equity needed to bring this to life. And if you believe in this mission, we invite College Park to partner with us by helping fund the concept, including and connecting us to resources, sharing ideas, or supporting the path toward launch. So I want to thank you for allowing us to share this vision with you. We're grateful for your leadership, your partnership, and your commitment to community. And we look forward to answering your questions and exploring how College Park can be part of bringing fresh hope, lather, and load to life. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll start with Councilmember McKenzie.
I absolutely love this concept, and I want to thank Councilwoman Arnold and each of you ladies for bringing this to us. It is needed in our community. We do, I know the Councilwoman and I both have events each month where we do each outreach to the community, and you do find persons who have not been able to take a shower, and we like to give hygiene. It's interesting because the gentleman that, his nonprofit that I work with, he had suggested something similar to this, but he just suggested it. Y'all have put it all together. So I love the concept. I think it's definitely needed. We did talk about, we put aside some funds in this fiscal year for unhoused projects. So I guess the question that I have is, I know you mentioned funding, but there wasn't an amount that you're looking at for College Park in terms of what could we do, Councilman, since you're, yeah.
So we do have a budget. We, I guess, made a mistake and left the budget out of the presentation, but we just need to start with the basics, right? The ask is about $15,000 to $20,000 just to get started. We need to purchase some supplies so that we can achieve those milestones that we have. We need to purchase some kits, and we just need some other materials and supplies so that we can achieve those 2 days that we have on our calendar. July 15th is quickly approaching. This also is going to help us with the materials that we need. We have a couple of pitch days that we're going to invite nonprofits to come out and hear our concept, along with other organizations where we want to, and I'm going to leave this up to our fundraiser, our sponsorships, right? Where we're going to get sponsors to also help us raise the capital that we need for our actual mobile unit. I hope that answered your question.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you, ladies. I don't have anything else at this time.
Councilmember Carn.
All right, great to see y'all. This is really where the rubber meets the road. This is definitely needed. And, you know, finding and identifying those needs is so important. This reminds me, when I was county commissioner, one of my projects was a mobile voting unit. And I got everybody to go along with purchasing 2 mobile voting units for Fulton County. And what it did is it alleviated, let's say you have a long line, you could have as many as 10 people go in at one time and vote to alleviate that long line, and you can move it, you know, to another precinct and so on and so forth. And it was going gangbusters for a minute, and then the next legislative session, the state, of course, banned mobile voting units in the state of Georgia. So, you know, sometimes things are working a little too well. But I think this is one that's not going to be banned. This is definitely needed, and it's non-political. So, this is going to be great. Looking forward to it.
Councilmember Gay.
I don't have any questions, but I'd like to support any way I can.
Have you had the opportunity to talk to Terrence Lester from Love Beyond Walls?
So Love Beyond Walls, we are aware of the organization, and so as you're aware, our project is focused completely on Clayton County,
yes.
right? And we are also focused on a mobile unit
Right.
as a part of our project. And so we do know that the services are available, just as there are other services to help the unhoused with basic hygiene kits and being able to clean themselves. However, this particular unit is specifically for Clayton County and to support the residents of Clayton County.
Completely understood.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking they do some of this mobile work, and so just to pick his brain about how it could work and avoiding pitfalls and the like. I wasn't saying partner with him because I know there's not a complete overlap, but I think there's enough there that it might help you launch even better.
Oh, well, thank you. Yes, we need that. Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Sure. All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Agenda item 4, presentation for Director of Human Resources and Risk Management, Krista Gilbert, on the citywide classification and compensation study recommendations conducted by Management Advisory Group International, Inc.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Good evening.
The Management Advisory Group has completed the classification and compensation study and is here this evening to present their findings. Dr. Russell will provide an overview of the study, including key recommendations for your consideration. Following tonight's presentation, we are requesting that this item be brought back on at the June 15th meeting for you to take action. So I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Russell at this time.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. I appreciate the opportunity to come before you this evening to talk about the recently completed compensation and classification study that Management Advisory Group prepared for the city. I'm Dr. Russell Campbell. I served as the project director for the engagement, which included doing the analysis and developing the findings and recommendations. What I'd like to do is to give you an overview of the methodology and process that we use to develop the report, and then share with you 3 options for implementation to address the major issues that spurred the need for the study. Just briefly, next slide, please. Management Advisory Group has been in business for over 25 years. We're headquartered in Fairfax, Virginia, which is suburban Washington, D.C. We've done over 700 of these projects around the country. We strictly work for public sector organizations, municipal, county, school districts, as well as public safety organizations. We virtually do no private sector consulting work. We've done a number of projects here in the Atlanta metropolitan area. Among cities, we've done work for South Fulton, Fayetteville, City of Americas. We've done work for Clayton County, Macomb, Bibb County, Floyd County, Cherokee County Sheriff's Office, and Atlanta Public Schools, among many other organizations in the area. Next slide, please. Just briefly, these are some of the other staff members of the company that were associated with the project but primarily worked behind the scenes. In addition to myself, we had Mr. Steve Foster, who was in charge of collecting wage and benefit information from the peer organizations that I'll talk about shortly. We also had Dr. Long, whose expertise is public safety, so he was able to assist with the review of the public safety positions. And then we also have Mrs. Cowell, who primarily focuses on job descriptions, but the descriptions that were presented were pretty well put together, and we didn't see a need to revise or redo any of the job descriptions at this time. Mrs. C.V. Long is the founder and president of the company. Her expertise is that she's recognized by the Fourth Circuit Court out of Virginia as an expert on pay equity and pay disparity issues. She reviews every report that goes out to make sure that there are no issues along those lines. And then Mrs. Tracy O'Shields provides administrative support to the team associated with the project. Just briefly from the RFP that was presented that we responded to in terms of the scope of work, the project included assessing current compensation structure for all full-time and part-time positions, ensuring positions that perform similar work are essentially paid based on the same pay grade and pay range as part of the process. We identified market competitiveness by comparing salaries and benefits with peer cities and public sector organizations in the region. We recommended adjustments to pay ranges, classifications, and compensation policies to support long-term workforce planning within the city. We reviewed the existing position descriptions, classifications to make sure that the current classes matched up with the nature of the work that was being performed. If not, we would recommend changing classifications so that there's a better relationship or match with the duties and the nature of the work. We conducted meetings with the HR department, the administrator, and we did hold a group meeting with the department heads at the onset of the project. We analyzed current practices and policies with respect to looking at how new employees are placed within the pay structure based on their experience. How does promotion and reclassification requests impact one's pay to ensure there's fairness and equity with respect to how those things are handled? As part of the review, not just compensation, but we also looked at total compensation, which included the benefit items, and I'll talk about those as I get further into the presentation. Then we reviewed the pay relationships between the positions to make sure that there was equity and fairness throughout the pay structure. We specifically were looking for salary compression issues, which we did find across departments. We did not find any pay disparities along gender or racial lines as part of our review. And we did find a couple of classification inconsistencies, but we were able to clarify those through HR, and they were not issues as we initially thought they would be. And then we provided 3 options for implementation and the funding associated with those. Next, please. The project was designed to capture information from existing position descriptions, and if necessary, we would have the employees fill out a job questionnaire so that we could establish the internal relationship of the positions within the organization. When you do this type of work, it's a 2-pronged process. The first step is to rank the jobs based on the complexity of the work and the qualifications to hold the position. The second step is to collect pay structure information on the value of similar positions in other organizations in the region. We don't collect actual salaries because the study is about the value of the job, not the value of the person. Someone's actual salary is a product of the individual in terms of their performance, their credentials, and how long they've been in the position or how long they've been with the organization. So we were strictly looking at the value of the positions. Then we use a statistical modeling process known as linear regression, which is built into the software application that we use to create the new pay table based on the 2 data inputs, which are the quantitative point score assigned to each position, and then the market annual average that we collected from the other organizations in the region. Next, please. There was no part of the process that factored in performance. As I said, it's about the value of the position, not the person. We didn't guarantee at the onset of the study that there would be salary increases for everyone as a part of the project, and we certainly did not recommend reducing anyone's salary, even if we had found someone that was over the top end of the job value as we came back with our recommendations, and we had no one in that particular situation. Next, please. And so those are the steps associated with the project. I won't go through those in detail, but we kicked off the project in step 1, where we collected employee data from HR. We collected information, identifying the employees by name, department, job title, current salary, FLSA status. Then we had some conversations about historical recruitment and retention with human resources and any particular positions that the organization has struggled to fill or retain individuals. Then we talked about the list of organizations that it made sense to compare the city to. And so we spent a lot of time on that particular item because geographically the city's blessed, and that does come with some challenges as well when you're surrounded by a number of jurisdictions, some bigger, but you're all utilizing the same applicant pool for the same type of labor. And so we can't ignore those organizations that are bigger. We have to include them because some are so close that an employee can reasonably commute without having to physically locate. And so the idea is to create a pay structure that's competitive. By competitive, we don't mean that you have to match dollar for dollar of the highest paying entity in the region, but we got to look at the gap between the city of College Park and some of the larger entities to make sure it is not as extensive as it has been in the past. Because research shows that when an individual decides to come work for an organization or stay employed with an organization, salary is not the only factor that they look at. There are other factors such as benefits, job security, and advancement opportunity, but salary will always fall in the top 3. And we talked about reviewing the current structure to identify areas that needed to be addressed as part of the review to build a new plan. And then we sat down with the administrator and HR director as well as the CFO to discuss the implementation options and the financial impact of the study. And then tonight I'm here to present the results as well as the financial impact. Next slide, please. The factors we use to rank the jobs to satisfy the internal equity, there's 14 job factors that we evaluate each position against. They're weighted. I go through and assign a rating that ranges from 1 to 10 in each one of those categories based on information that was contained in the position descriptions. At the top of the chart, we have education experience that was needed, not necessarily what the individual personally holds. Then going to the right, we have judgment, decision-making, looking at it from the standpoint if an employee exercises poor judgment or makes bad decisions, what are the repercussions of that? Could someone get hurt or harmed? Could there be some type of legal exposure or blowback to the county? We looked at data responsibility, which looks at the different types of reports and documents the employee prepares and reviews in their current job capacity, as well as any math or statistical calculations. We also looked at physical demands and unavoidable hazards where the employees exposed to anything that could cause harm as they perform their job duties. We looked at communication from the standpoint of who they interact with to facilitate completion of their duties, both internally and externally. Then we looked at people responsibility, categorizing that, whether it's a traditional supervisory responsibility or maybe a step down in terms of being a coordinator role or a team chief or team leader, or an employee who was responsible for no one but him or herself. We looked at budgetary responsibility, the ability to manage a budget or sign off on requisitions on behalf of the city, as well as safety responsibility, and then the overall complexity of the work. And those were applied to every position, whether it was an exempt or non-exempt position. And when we talked about the market survey, we look at what we call competitors and peers. Generally, competitors are those organizations that we consider in your backyard that are within a reasonable commute, which is typically 45 to 50 minutes, depending on whether the job pays enough to entice the employee to want to make that jump without physically having to relocate. And then peers are those organizations that may have similar characteristics to the city of College Park, maybe size of workforce, community population, structure of government and service delivery. Next slide. And so these are the organizations that administration and MAG agreed to assess as part of the review. The cities of Atlanta, South Fulton, Marietta, Alpharetta, Kennesaw, East Point, Sandy Springs, Decatur, Roswell, Fulton County, DeKalb County, Cobb County, Clayton County. And then private sector data comes from a database called ONET, which gets its private sector data from the Federal Department of Labor, Bureau of Labor Statistics. All that is fed into the algorithm to create the pay schedule. Next slide, please. Based on the findings and recommendations, at the start of the study, the city was at the 48th percentile, which is slightly below the market average, which is considered the 50th percentile. At the 50th percentile and below, you're in the middle of the pack. You're not distinguishing yourselves in terms of compensation and benefits, and it can make it difficult to fill particularly technical jobs, middle and upper management positions. We suggest that the organization limit reclassification requests to once a year, or unless it's absolutely imperative that a job be reclassed prior to start of the budget process. What happens over time as departments submit reclassification requests throughout the year and they are addressed, that tends to erode the internal equity relationship within the organization because all jobs are not being looked at the same time. And that creates disparities and inequities. And to be quite frank, as a former HR director, having to deal with reclassification requests as an HR director, I would say probably 70% are not true reclassification requests. A true reclassification request is when the content of the job changes and it needs to be reassessed to make sure it's in the proper grade. Most are an avenue to seek a pay increase for an employee. Whether they deserve it or not is not an issue. But the issue is they should only be considered for reclasses along the budget process timeline and not throughout the course of the year. Benefits are competitive with respect to the fringe benefits such as insurance premiums, paid time off, and other items that are considered indirect compensation. They're in line with what's being offered among the peer organizations. We did find salary compression throughout the organization, and we did put forth mechanisms to address that. We created 2 pay schedules, one for public safety and then a second one for what we call the unified positions. Unified positions is kind of the catch-all pay plan for all those positions that are not police or fire. We also developed policies on succession planning, retention incentives, vacation time buyback, as well as employee engagement activities for consideration, and then the 3 implementation options, which I'll go over here in a moment. Next, please. Option 1 would be to move the city from the 48th percentile to the 55th percentile. Each option builds in a 4% cost of living increase for all employees, so they would all get that baseline adjustment. And so to give everyone the 4% cost of living adjustment is $1.1 million, specifically $1,162,580. And then we found there were 139 employees below the new minimum of the structure that we came up with. So to get them to that level was $286,594. And then to address salary compression, which impacts 236 out of the 463 employees, was $559,340. So to implement the 55th percentile option is $2,008,514, or an increase to current payroll of 6.90%. Now, this does not include the cost of fringe benefits. This is just the cost of actual salary increases. Next, please. The second option would move the city to the 60th percentile. Everyone would also get the 4% cost of living adjustment. As we raise the pay ranges up, more people would be below minimum. So there would be 234 people that would need adjustments to get them to the new minimum of the structure, which is $748,989. 299 would need compression adjustments, which would be $814,361. So the total cost of the 60th percentile is $2.728 million, or a 9.37% increase to current payroll. And again, fringe needs to be tacked on top of that. And the final option would be to move the city to the 65th percentile, the same 4% COLA. The adjustment to minimum would be $1,451,452. Compression would be $1,035,198. The grand total in terms of salary adjustments for the 65th percentile would be $3,651,299. Each one of these 3 options addresses the objectives that we started out with when we began the work on the study, that was to make the pay structure more competitive for all positions across all departments, address any inequities such as pay compression, and to create the salary structure where the pay ranges were broad enough to where employees would have opportunities and room for salary growth, as well as pay for performance if the city decides to move in that direction. And so either of the 3 options would put the city in a much better position than it currently is, but it depends on how aggressive you want to be in terms of placement in the market. Certainly at the 65th percentile, that puts you in the upper end of the regional market. The 60th, just a step below, and then the 55th puts you above the market average going forward. And so that was what I wanted to share this evening. If there are any questions, I'll be happy to address those at this point in time.
Thank you, sir. We'll start with Councilmember McKenzie.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for this detailed study that you shared with us. Thank you, Krista, as well, and thank you, Mr. Hicks. We discussed this during our budget workshops, and I'm just really excited about the timeliness of being able to get this to us even tonight as we look at our budget for a fiscal year. I got a couple of things.
Sure.
first thing is, I am glad to see that you didn't see the need for a reduction, because that would, I know if anything, we needed an increase, so. And that just goes to show that we really did need to have this study, because we want to do better by our staff and our employees. I find it very concerning that we are at the 48th percentile. I'm definitely not happy with that, but again, I'm not surprised, because we knew that we needed to do this so that we could see where we are, and this gives us a good barometer. I definitely would love to get us to the 65 percentile, but I'm hoping that my colleagues, and that we can see financially where we can get to the 60 and definitely the 55, Mr. Hicks. I think we got to. Now, the question I do have, I had wrote down everything and my little phone just went out. Okay. So a couple of questions that I had was, public safety is a very big concern for us right now. We know that that's a very competitive market, and we are really in need of that increase. The question is, when you did this study, what kind of increase was put in for our public safety personnel?
I don't have a copy of the full report in front of me, but I can tell you the study did find that you had lost ground with respect to public safety in the region, and so there's a fair amount of adjustments to be made in public safety,
Okay.
particularly with police.
I know we had discussed something about a 7% increase, so that was not factored into these numbers that we're looking at?
No,
So
they
just
were not.
only the 4% COLA,
COLA.
and the ability to adjust to minimum or compression?
Yes.
Okay. And then, so that's something I know is definitely necessary, that we look at that, and I guess the city manager and finance and our HR will look at that. And the last thing, I know that you didn't put this in here, but I am still interested in the creation of a step plan. Once we've gotten this part together, but so that employees, so we don't constantly have this happening over and over again. So I'd like to see the implementation going forward, not this year necessarily. We do have it in, okay.
It's called a compression.
Okay, so the compression means that if a person has been here for 3 years, they can, okay. I haven't seen it, so.
Yeah, the compression adjustment looks at how long they've been in their current position, their promotion date, and then the pay range and pay grade they're going to be assigned to, and then estimates what their target salary should be and places them at that point within the new salary range.
Okay, but in the future, that's going to get them there for right now. But is
That
there
gets
something
them
where I can
started.
look at and see if I'm still here at the city for 5 or 10 more years? What-
You can convert the open range format to a step range.
Okay,
if
that's
you
what
like.
I meant, yeah.
you
So
can
I'd like
do
to see that going forward as well. But I'm really, very good information, and I want to say thank you again. I don't have anything else at this moment. I think there's something else, but I'll let my colleagues go ahead.
Councilmember Carn?
All right, thank y'all. It was a good presentation, and
Appreciate it.
one of my biggest concerns, and I discussed this with the city manager several times, and with Krista as well, were the approximate 56 employees or so earning below $20 per hour. And I let the city manager know I wasn't approving anything that did not bring everybody less than $20 an hour above $20 an hour. So I want to make sure, regardless of which of these scenarios we cover, that those employees that make less than $20 an hour will make more than $20 per hour.
No one, as a result of either of those options, will make less than $20 an hour.
All right, well, we're off to a good start. I got some other concerns as well. In terms of market position, one of the things I looked at that was, sometimes it kind of falls through the cracks in a sense. I've been up here for a minute, so, and Krista, city manager, how about the positions that have been currently vacant for over 1 year? And this is a real concern for me because you know, typically those types of positions, I think, you know, just on the offset are going to require a salary increase to attract any talent for those. We only have a few that have been over a year, but there's still some that have been over a year, because I worry about continued vacancies, worry about lost productivity, and what eventually happens is the hiring of unqualified candidates. And I don't want that to happen anymore.
Certainly.
You following me? So it goes without saying, for me, I'd like every open position that has been open for 12 months or more to be part of that compensation increase, because obviously that's not working.
Yeah, we included all the vacant positions in the study.
Oh, good,
And
good,
then also
okay.
the compensation policies and guidelines section that we put in the report. If any position has been open for more than 60 days and the acknowledgement hadn't generated a qualified applicant pool, that position can be designated as a hard to fill, which means there's greater latitude in terms of negotiating a salary to bring someone in. And typically you have to do that for some positions, because not all positions in the labor market move in sync. Some move faster than others. And in this region, law enforcement and public safety are increasing faster than non-public safety jobs, because everyone's trying to fill those positions. But we did put together a matrix recommendation where, based on experience, where you can bring someone in above the minimum into the pay structure.
Okay, well, I hear two things with that answer. I hear a negotiated salary to bring them in once you get some interest. My issue was, you're not going to get much interest, or you may get underqualified people if that salary is not raised, if it's been, now you mentioned over 60 days.
Right.
Those automatically are part of the increases, right? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
And then from there, so they're already up by whatever percentile we take. Then, when applicants come in for those hard-to-fill positions, you negotiate further based on the experience.
Based on, yeah.
Okay,
the individual.
that's all right, that sounds okay.
Anything else?
Nope.
Councilmember Arnold?
Thank you. Thank you for responding to, actually, thank you for the presentation. It was very thorough.
Thank you.
Well thought out. I appreciate hearing that we are including a step plan, and that we have addressed those positions that were making less than 20. What is the lowest? What is that minimum amount?
I believe it's about $22 an hour.
It's
is the lowest
22?
position. Yes.
Okay, all right. And then the other question that I have is in reference to, I know that the charts do not include fringe, but what would the fringe be for all three options?
I don't have the number with me, but I'll make sure I get that for you. With the health, you're speaking of the health and benefits, correct?
Right, so, and the reason why I'm asking is, although we see the numbers that it's going to, or the amount that it's going to take for us to increase the salaries based on the comp study, right?
Yes.
If we accept any option, it's still not giving us 100% of what it's gonna cost us. And so, I would like to know what the associated fringe cost is for each option,
Okay.
so that we can have an entire amount, right? So if it's another, I don't know, $1 million, and I'm just throwing a number out there, I'm not saying that it is, so that we can have a full understanding of what we really need to have in the plan.
Okay.
Madam Mayor, can I respond?
Mr. Hicks, yes, go ahead.
Okay. So, Crystal, do you want to talk about the overall budget that finance put into this plan?
For the comp study, yes.
Right. What X amount for the budget and X amount for the fringe benefit would put us into the specific percentile?
Okay, so Finance Department, they added 2.7 million in. That will cover all the fringe benefits plus the comp study. So we have that 2.7 in there for that, but if you're asking for the total together, I'm gonna have to defer to finance, but that is what they added into budget.
I see. So you're saying that we've budgeted 2.7 to
Yes.
cover all of it, including the fringe?
At the French, yes.
Okay, all right.
And once we did that, it put us into one particular category.
Understood.
Correct.
Yep, that, you're right. It sure would. Yeah, I got it. Okay. All right, thank you.
And that one particular category, of course, it covers those that were below 20. It covered the compression, and it also covered the 4%.
Understood. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Can I ask a follow-up question on that in terms, so based upon that number, the only one that is essentially within the budget that finance is set aside is the 55th percentile pay plan, is that correct?
Absolutely correct.
Okay, all right, just want to make sure that that is clear.
Yeah.
All right.
That is
Could you
Councilmember-
repeat the question? I didn't understand what you just said.
Mr. Hicks had said that finance has set aside $2.7 million for both salary increases and fringe benefits. Looking at the three plans, the 55th percentile pay plan, which is on 39, and then 40 to the 60th percentile pay plan, and then the 65th percentile pay plan on page 41, the 60th and the 65th exceed $2.7 million
right.
without fringe benefits. So we'd have to figure out where the money's coming from for the 60th and the 65th. If we were to do this, the 55th, that's the only one that at this point, we can hopefully reasonably assume that $2.7 million covers. However, we don't know those numbers of the fringe benefits for the 55th percentile pay plan, but it's the only one that comes in under $2.7 million. Does that make sense?
And Councilman Gay, if I'm not mistaken, I think Cynthia said close to 1-point-something million for the fringe benefits. So we'll get the specific numbers
Yeah.
for you. And again, that covers those that are below $20. It covers the compression. You're labor two, I'm labor two. You've been here 10 years, I've been here 2 years. It separates that now, based on the scale.
I just had a couple,
You were finished, Councilman?
No, we're done.
Okay, Councilmember Gay?
I just had a couple other questions that may or may not be directly related to some
Yes, sir.
of the study points, but just for my trying to understand a little bit more, okay? Is it safe to say that the study basically focused on mid-level staff, not top tier?
It focused on all positions, the lowest level, middle level, and the top tier positions. It included all staff.
So you didn't find much disparity in the top tier?
There were some leadership, senior positions at the department head level where there are some adjustments that need to be made there as well.
All right, my second question is, I understand putting us in a higher percentile, adjusting more money out of our general fund. I'm not even debating that. But what I'm not clear on is, how do we implement it if we don't get clear on, if we're gonna go fully to the step pay increase versus across the board? Because what I'm hearing from staff is that they've worked here 10, 15 years, and they don't want to be paid the same thing that someone who just came here. So unless we come with a whole, I came from the airline with the step.
That's right.
So the longer you work, the richer you are. How do we make the increase make sense if we don't decide how we want to?
Well, a couple of things about step plans. Step plans are generally associated with school districts. That's where they originate, and it's about teacher pay. If you go to any school district anywhere in the country, really, and you ask a teacher how long they've been with the district, and they say 15 years, they're going to be on step 15 of the pay plan. So it ties to years of experience. Local government doesn't always do it that way. Local government usually uses steps as a mechanism to move employees forward one step each year, or if there's time performance to it where they could move maybe 2 steps each year based on performance. And so if you're going to have steps, you got to decide, are the steps going to be tied directly to years of service, which is pretty expensive to maintain. because when you have step system, people have to fall on a finite step. They can't fall in between, so you always got to round up to the closest step. And so the ranges we come up with, they can simply be converted into steps. You probably want to have maybe 31 steps, and the increment in between steps can be anywhere between 1.5% to maybe 3.5%, or sometimes even 4%. And then they would move each year. Their cost of living would be built into the step structure. And so whatever, like for example, if you built a step plan and there were 2% in between increments in between the steps, and council approved a 5% COLA for the 27-28 year, you would simply adjust the step table by 3% and then move the employee one step, then they realize a 5% increase, because there are already 2% increments in between, and then you want to get them to 5, so you'd increase the table by 3%. And so that can be done rather easily, the conversion, and I can help you do that.
I just got a couple. I do slightly disagree with you that the step system goes far beyond the school system. It is in
Airlines.
armed forces, it's in government, because hell, I was a GS-11 40 years ago.
Yeah, I'm not
way beyond
I'm not saying
teachers. I just
school
thought that's right.
systems are the only place that have it, but that's the predominant industry
understand.
type that has it.
Then I have another question. You made a statement that you compare us with other similar suited cities, and you put them on the chart. I also slightly am not on the same page with your study as it relates to the benefits that we offer. I don't know how you measured them. I heard what you said, but for example, our insurance risk manager just told us that we contribute to the highest in our health insurance. I do know that most companies, Fortune 500, Fortune 500 subsidiaries, local governments are all done away with the pension. We still do the pension, which is a very expensive proposition, by the way. We have take-home cars that are new. We have a laissez-faire relationship with most of our staff. And we even go as far as to offer great other benefits. So when you measure that, I beg to differ that we compare equally to
I never
all
said
other
the word
cities.
you compare equally. I said your benefit offerings are consistent with what other entities are offering. Not all government entities have the same benefit package. Quite frankly, when you're dealing with states that don't have collective bargaining like Florida and Texas and California, the benefits package are pretty homogeneous. Everybody offers certain types of health plans, paid time off, whether they break it out in a vacation or sick leave. Most offer cars for leadership or a vehicle stipend monthly, and then there's some type of retirement plan available. When we do this type of review, we're not looking to come in and say, we're not actuaries where we're going to come in and say, well, you know, your pension is too generous, you need to cut that back. We're not here to assess whether or not you need to do away with something. We're looking to see if there's something missing that would put you in a negative situation from a recruiting and retention standpoint, or others offering benefit items that you're not. And from that standpoint, no, there's not. Now, you can always pay above what others are paying, and that's to your advantage.
I mean, Ms. Gilbert, I think it's a good tool for us to keep, but I don't think it's our only thing that we need to assess this before we make final decisions on how many millions of dollars we're gonna spend. I think that we need to look at more. I think it's a good tool. I just have two questions. We did a study since I worked up here. Did they get a copy of that study? We did a pay.
We did with Evergreen, I believe.
Did this company have that study to compare when they got started? So I'm asking.
No.
No.
They did not? So what I would ask is that, I'm not seeing the conclusion, because it's not in our packet, right, the conclusion? His findings isn't in our packet, is it?
We don't have the
Some general
information on
findings.
Just the
salary.
general finding, like what we want to pay. I would love to see the comprehensive conclusion, myself personally, as a city manager,
We have it.
because, I mean, we need to, for me, I would like to do a deeper dive, because it's important to everybody up here. They all on board, but I think we need to look deeper into how to make this sustainable. It's not just, because, you know, and I'll close by saying this. When I was in grad school at DePaul, we learned it's not just money what people want. They need more than money. And so that brings me to this question. When you do these types of studies, what I also hear from the employees is that the financial arrangements we make with contractors, how does that impact our W-2 wage earners with what we pay our contractors? Because they listen and they look at that. And you made the statement, and I quote, "My study is to help you recruit." So how do you look at those other intrinsic factors as it relates to bringing us a compensation and pay study?
Well, it's pretty straightforward. When we sat down and talked, when I talked with Krista, she brought up that you guys have had difficulty filling some positions. Some positions have been posted, and you hadn't been able to fill the positions, and there's reason to indicate that compensation is a factor associated with that. And so the reason you generally do a compensation study is so you can recruit and retain employees, fill vacancies, and hold on to the people you've already invested in training and developing.
Sure. And the biggest of all is, how does the study address turnover or attrition, or our city having such a high turnover? How does the study how do we read your study to understand how to factor that in?
Well, generally speaking, if you have a high turnover and it's not all tied to compensation, then you would need to do some investigative review. If you do exit interviews when employees leave, pull those up, find out why they're leaving, canvass current employees by doing some type of morale survey. One of the things that I find when I'm working with cities and counties around the country is there will be some folks that believe that turnover is always tied to pay. Well, the truth is sometimes it's tied to the leadership at the department level that the employees are exposed to. Some people don't feel it's a work environment they can thrive in for whatever reason. So there can be multiple reasons why you have high turnover. You've got to do some investigation as to why. And the first place to start, if you're doing exit interviews when people leave, find out what they're saying, why they're leaving. Are they leaving to go somewhere else for more money or a better opportunity, or they don't like the environment for whatever reason. And then maybe current employees, maybe you should do every 2 years, do some type of morale survey confidentially, where the employees can respond to questions about how they feel about the workplace, the leadership they receive, everything from the work environment, the compensation, the benefits, and that helps you shape policy to decide what you can do to try to reduce turnover.
All right, thank you for your time.
I got another question.
Councilmember Carn?
Couple of things, and Councilmember Gay touched on a few of them. He mentioned you got lower level, mid, and top level that you looked at. I would, out of the hypothetical percentile options, I would like to see those approximate percentages, if that's something you can provide us.
We provided in the report a summary of the survey data for what we call the benchmark positions, the positions that were surveyed. And you can see which positions were surveyed and where they fall within the market. Are you at the market, below it, or above it? We use 5% as a benchmark. So at the minimum, midpoint, maximum, are you greater than 5% behind the market? If you're greater than 5% behind the market, that generally is a red flag that you're probably already experiencing or will have in the very near future some turnover or retention issues when you're at least 5% behind the market. And so those are all identified in the survey summary within the report.
I hear what you're saying, but that may not be quite what I'm asking for. It's close to it. Out of the 236, the low-level percentage of low-level positions that are going up, percentage of mid-level positions that are going up, the percentage of top-level positions that are going up. That's what I'm looking for specifically. You got that?
I mean, we could go back and put that together.
Okay, if you can give me that out of the 236. That's one. The other thing I'll say is, and we've talked about this before, I hear this from a lot of employees, and particularly part-timers. A full holiday day off for our part-timers. A full holiday day off for our part-timers. Now, my understanding was that some of them get a half a day or something along those lines? Okay, well, a half a day doesn't, to me, make a whole lot of sense. So I would like, and I don't know where y'all are at on that, but in terms of our part-timers, at least for the holidays, I think it just makes more sense to give them a full day off if possible. The other thing is, do we currently conduct exit interviews?
Yes.
We do.
Yes.
So you have a list of those exit interviews from the past 6 months, say if it's June now, you have those, and
I do have the
Okay.
ones that completed it. There are some that they do not want to complete them, and they won't complete them.
okay, well, whatever
So
you got.
the ones that I have, I do have, yes.
And city manager, at some point, our anonymous exit reports, I think that'd be something good for us to look at.
Sure.
Does
Sure,
that make sense?
I'll work
To
with
see
HR.
without
Yeah,
anonymous.
sure.
Last thing I'll say is, when the benefits package guy was up here the other month, last meeting, he did mention, we had a pretty good benefits package. He said it was
Yes.
pretty rich,
Yes, we do.
and that's a good thing. But I would like to see our benefits offering percentile. And I guess that could come from you, I guess, just to see where we at. We know we're 48th in the market for salary. I'd like to see our
Oh, the
benefits
percentile of the benefit.
percentile
Oh, okay.
as well, just to take a look at. And the reason why is because, Roger, you touched on the pensions and the options, and, some of that stuff is, there's new ways of doing business, I guess. But from a city perspective,
Mhm.
we got to keep something in mind. There are a lot of cities that aren't old enough to have a pension obligation, and particularly in Fulton County, y'all. I'm talking about Milton, brand new. Johns Creek, brand new. Sandy Springs, brand new, relatively, 2005, 2006. Chad Hills, brand new. City of South Fulton, brand new. They don't have a pension obligation to even to speak of, really, relatively speaking. I watched the City of South Fulton's budget go from the 200 millions to this year, they're 425. Now, obviously, they're a much bigger city, but that pension obligation that they are not obligated to is so much is a big difference. And now it's going to catch up with all of them over the years and decades and decades and decades, but we've got rolling decades of it. So just some stuff to keep in mind. So that's all I had on that. But thank y'all. It's a good report.
Councilmember Arnold?
I have one follow-up, just based on the conversations that we've had about surveying and doing exit interviews, which I think is a great point. Mr. Hicks, maybe we can look at, or no, we should look at doing some type of poll for current staff or current employees, just to get a feel, right? Just to see what's happening by way of turnover and the sentiment that the staff have for working for the city of College Park. Of course, it all needs to be anonymous. There are a couple of different tools that are out in the market that we can utilize. I'm sure you can find them under SHRM.
Yes.
One in particular is Gallup, where everyone can just give us some feedback and let us know, give us some more information on how we can address anything that may be happening
Okay,
within the workplace.
okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Madam Mayor, just a couple of things I wanted to
Mr.
just
Hicks, go ahead.
comment. Number one, Councilman Carn, I certainly hear you about part-time employees, but in terms of parity, we cannot compare our part-time employees to our full-time employees. Because a lot of our full-time employees work between 40 and 60 hours a week sometimes. And our part-time employees are limited to X amount of hours per week. So in terms of parity, I wouldn't certainly be favorable of giving our part-timers a full day, same as the full-time. Now, we can look at some other models on that, but we want to make sure our full-time people are getting what they deserve. The second thing is, the employees are satisfied with the pension. And I know College Park is probably one of the few municipalities that still have the pension. That's one of the benefits. And so the staff has made it very clear to me that they like their pension. So I want to make sure that's out there to the staff who have earned that pension. They want it.
And-
All right,
and I-
Councilmember Carn?
Yeah, and I definitely don't want to come off like I'm a proponent of eliminating the pensions, not by any stretch.
All right.
But there are young employees that have approached me and talked to me, and they said they would like an option. And a lot of when I say an option, if you're 27, you may say, well, hey, I'd like a little more up front, and I'm not interested in a pension. Whereas, if you're 45, you're gonna say, I want that. So there may be some middle ground in terms of our salaries. There's some younger folks that may not have an interest in that, and they say, well, give me a little extra up front right now. This generation, 5 years is a career. So it's not the same math that it used to be for them. I mean, 3 years is a long time in a company for some folks nowadays. I mean, to me, that's just getting warmed up. But I'm from another generation, so let's think about that too. And there are a lot of employees that just say, hey, I just need the money. Give me a 1099. I don't want anything taken out, and 1099 me. There's all kind of different things that people are interested in that we may not kind of understand the logic in it. But so just yeah. But yeah, I don't think we ever get rid of our pension. But it may be a point where maybe it's an option. Maybe we have an option, and an employee can choose. So.
All right, I had a couple questions. Since it looks like we're really seriously looking at the 55th percentile pay, that's the one that we can actually afford theoretically, but we're not even 100% sure on that. We might have to work some numbers depending on what those fringe benefits look like. Correct, Mr. Hicks?
99%, that's what we are.
Okay. All right, so even at that pay plan, so for whether the person comes in as a unified employee or a public safety employee, they would be making the 55th percentile of their pay for their job in the market if they walk in the door. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're saying overall, the pay structure of the city is at the 55th percentile. Understanding within that, there's a lot of diversity among the different job types, occupations.
Can you make sure you're at the microphone? I apologize. Thank you, sir.
But within that, there's a great deal of diversity in terms of job types within the city. But overall, we're saying that the city's pay structure will be at the 55th percentile, i.e., we can say with some degree of certainty that any position will be at the 55th percentile for a new employee.
What if we wanted, say, we've been able to figure out how to get to the 55th percentile this year, but then the goal perhaps next year is let's get to the 60th and try to at least keep climbing for another few years. What would that look like on the HR and analysis end from both perspectives?
Well, we take the cost that we've come up with now, and let's say you go with the 55th now, and the goal would be to get to the 65th in 2 years. You could break out the cost, what you'd have to do the next 2 years to be at the 65th in the second year.
But actually, we'd have to tweak it, obviously, because the market will be shifting during that
You
time.
have to adjust the ranges, but, yeah.
So would that be a sort of an ongoing conversation with your firm about how to make sure that if we were trying to hit those benchmarks, we could reach them?
Yes, we can help you with that. We can put the information back into the system and rerun the numbers. Just tell us, what your goal is.
Would that be a less onerous process than this? Or would it be about the same?
It'd probably be about the same.
Okay. All right. And Ms. Gilbert, I just want to make sure, I've got two questions for you. I know that 4% cost of living is folded in for all of these models, and it's something that our budget that the council is going to be contemplating later on tonight factors in.
Yes.
I had an employee ask me this question, and so I want to make sure that everyone is clear. For the increase in insurance that they can expect, are we wiping out that 4% cost of living increase?
Well, it is going up 23%, so that is, it may for some, but not for all, because of the compression study. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. And also, when we talk about the fringe benefits, that is inclusive of our pension contributions, correct?
Yes.
All right. Those are the questions that I have.
Mayor, one last
Councilmember Carn?
thing. You touched on it in terms of the employee benefits, the increase. The issue was the employee being a reasonable monthly amount, and then when you get to employee plus one, or was it employee plus spouse? What was it, plus one or plus spouse?
What we currently
And what we're
have,
looking at.
employee plus one,
Plus
and
one.
family,
And then family.
but we've added a new tier. So now we have employee plus child, employee
That's what I
spouse,
suggested.
and then employee plus children, employees plus spouse, and family.
And that increase is gonna be much less, because generally, the employee plus one, if it's a spouse, that's where the increase is. If it's an employee plus one that's a child, it's gonna be a lot less money. And we got a
Correct.
lot of employee plus ones that aren't employee plus spouse, but they're paying the freight
That is correct.
of a husband
Mhm.
as opposed to the freight of a child, which would be a whole lot less.
That's
So
correct.
so that gap's gonna be a lot, that fourth tier makes a difference, because employee plus one is too generic, but employee plus child is gonna be a lower number, while employee plus spouse may be higher. So there are a lot of our employees that are employee with a child, not a spouse. So
Yes.
I want y'all to know, I suggested that at the last meeting to them to bring that back to us, is that right?
Yes, you did.
Okay,
And they
I just
did.
wanna put it out for the record now. All right, I'm looking at this stuff, and I've seen it go by a few times before, but we want to get as much as we can for the employees as possible, so.
All right. Appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Just one quick comment. Based on the commentary, in the report, we did provide a basic outline for a compensation philosophy. It seems like it would be well-suited for the board to individually and then collectively come up with your individual views of what the philosophy should be as it relates to employee pay. Do you want to strive to be at the 60th percentile? As long as fiscal resources allow, we want to maintain a traditional pension. Those things that you value individually, and then come together collectively and come to some agreement and put those in writing, and that becomes the philosophy. Because I think as I stand here, I hear different points of view and perspective from some of you, and like whether you're going to have a step plan or open range, put all that in writing as a philosophy, and then that will last not only hopefully during your tenure, but as people come and go off council, they'll at least see the rationale of what you had in place and what you as a council thought was priority and vision with respect to employee compensation. And they can always, fine tune it again, but it might be a good idea to start with an actual document in writing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Next agenda item, discussion on the Beloved Services funding request in the amount of $50,000 to launch and operate a Reach Community Center in College Park and to support the connected continuum of care provided through Beloved's Restored Residential Program and enter into a professional services agreement. This item is sponsored by Councilwoman Dr. Jamel McKenzie.
Hi, Mayor Broom and council members, and city manager just left. That was really complicated, by the way. Definitely above my pay grade. I think the thing that we can all agree on.
Can you introduce yourself?
Oh, yes, sorry. I'm Sherry, and I have a company called Good Places. We help to create good places. So we work in mission-driven real estate. So we purchased a building on Main Street, which is in Council Members Mackenzie's district. It is the largest retail on Main Street facing MARTA. So it's a pretty prominent building, and we want to really put it to good use. Our goal is to really support women. So we have, we've been working with a lot of nonprofits, and I think if anyone is here familiar with our work, we work with churches, with nonprofits, and support mission-based work. So, so today we are here to talk about Beloved Atlanta. They are currently based in Vine City, but we are looking to relocate them to City of College Park. They work in an industry that is something that we can all agree on, especially here near the airport, which is anti-trafficking. And so in a city where there is one of the highest population of hotels in the neighborhood, as well as directly next to Hartsfield-Jackson, the airport, sex trafficking is a pretty large issue, not just for cities, but specifically for hotels. And so we're very excited to be, working with Beloved Atlanta, because we feel that this is an opportunity to really partner with an organization that's been doing this for 13 years, and be able to really then make some inroads working in partnership with the hotel owners as well. So we've spoken to several hotel owners, but ones that are in the industry, and it is a huge issue, right? And it's one that doesn't get talked about very much, but hopefully we are going to change that narrative a little. So I'm going to let Miriam, who's from Beloved Atlanta, talk a little bit about their work. But we're here to also kind of ensure that this nonprofit is able to transition well into the city of College Park, which means that working together with our city police, as well as safety and all sorts of departments here, it's going to take a little bit of transition, but we are hoping that their programs will really be able to make an impact here.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Miriam McGee, and I serve as the clinical director of Beloved. We are an anti-trafficking organization based in Georgia, and we work with women coming out of sex trafficking and sexual exploitation, providing deep clinical care and case management, vocational pathways, and we do that through 2 programs. We are so grateful to Dr. Mackenzie for the opportunity to be here tonight, and we're so honored to present this request to the City of College Park. Beloved operates 2 programs, and together those 2 programs form a full continuum of care. Our Restore program is a 2-year residential program that offers women a place to stay who are in need of safety, clinical care, community, and we provide all of those things, safe housing, strength-based case management, mental health services, and all of that within a healthy community. And in 2025, the Restore program provided 3,619 nights of safe housing with a 65% retention rate in our program. That is 25% over the national benchmark for successful residential mental health programs. And our residents completed over 3,800 hours of services. 1,235 of those hours were individual and group therapy, as we are deeply focused on laying a foundation of clinical care and trauma-informed care as women pursue other goals of vocation and housing and reunification with families. And then in 2025, Beloved extended their care to the REACH program, and we piloted REACH in 2025 to bring similar services to the women in the community so that were not inside our residential program. Those were resources of case management and therapy, employment, and life skills pathways and healing-centered groups. And REACH serves women that are not in our residential program who need a supportive bridge between being in residential or if they're struggling out in the community to be able to make new paths and continue on their recovery. And in 2025, we served 18 women in that REACH program and delivered over 150 hours of direct services. And in 2026, we have expanded our vocational training program that currently 12 women are a part of, and that increase just shows just the high need that these women have coming out of exploitation and sex trafficking to access some of these services. And yes, as Sherry mentioned, tonight we are asking the City of College Park to invest $50,000 in Beloved's work here in the community. These funds will go towards supporting our direct clinical care, our case management services, coordinated safety operations with law enforcement, and community partnerships with MARTA Police, and workforce development programming through partnering with hotels in the area that can create a vocational program and a pathway for women to be employed. And will also ensure that the women who need a higher level of care have a clear pathway to the Restore program. And as Sherry mentioned, sex trafficking does happen very close in this community, the airport being right here and being a huge hub for that. And College Park has an opportunity to be part of this solution and to invest in the women that are already doing this really hard and really sacred work, and to for you all to join alongside Beloved in helping us build that infrastructure and make the transition from Vine City to College Park to continue to support the women. So we welcome your partnership and your questions and your support. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We'll start with Councilmember McKenzie.
Well, of course, I love the program, and you know I love the name, Beloved. So I just want to, I guess, reiterate some of the things that you said. Basically, when Sherry, when you first, the building space is going to still be used for retail on Main Street.
Correct.
This project, the offices for REACH would be located above the retail. So we are still looking at a retail on the lower level, but then the community services would be provided above. And it is such, I mean, again, I work with population of persons on a regular basis, being a nonprofit leader myself. And even now in the city of College Park, we run a sex trafficking women, and these women are unhoused because many of them are either staying in hotels or they have escaped a terrible, traumatic lifestyle. And so I thought this would be fitting as a use for some of the unhoused funds that we had set aside, because this project will help women who are unhoused to get the services that they need to find housing, but it will also work with workforce development, getting them job training, getting them the emotional support that they need, and things that will lead to, and then what I also like is the partnership that you have where we know that there are already businesses that are waiting to hire them. So I see it as a full continuum of care program, and if we in College Park act like that doesn't exist, it exists right here, all throughout this community, and we need to be a part of the solution. So thank you, ladies, for coming.
Absolutely.
Councilmember Carn.
All right, thank y'all. Much needed. These are the type of services and programs that other cities do not have that we're raising the bar on and making sure that we have available. Hartsfield Jackson sits in one city and one city only, and that's the city of College Park. Sex trafficking happens in just about every city. But obviously, since we've got the biggest show in town, and I can tell you right now, it's a problem. My wife worked in the trafficking industry for many, many years. She was the executive director of the Interfaith Children's Movement. I don't know if you're familiar with them. She worked with Gwinnett Stop. That's how I met her, actually, through her coming to Concerned Black Clergy about the topics. And we've got some of those issues in College Park. The city manager, too much of the time, some of that is happening in this city. And I can think of 3 motels that will remain unnamed that this year I want shut down. And I know you know what I'm talking about, don't you? So we ain't gonna call no names, but that's my goal for this year. And this program, maybe city manager, they can help us out with that too. All right.
Councilmember Arnold?
I did write down a question that I had here, but I think that it was answered. So the goal or the objective is to have, and I guess we're calling it residential, maybe it's like emergency housing for individuals, to have them, and it's above the retail, correct?
So upstairs will be the programs, and
Okay.
so the program will help to place women. So the residential part will not be located on top of the retail.
Will it
most
be in
likely.
College Park at all?
We will look for placement in College Park if possible. So it's usually just wherever we can place, or wherever Beloved can place them. So it's not necessarily going to be, it's based on where is available. So if it is available in College Park, then I'm sure we will try to place the women in College Park. Eventually, we are hoping to build out and this is something that, I'm sure we'll be back here again in the future, but we are hoping to build out specific homes for Beloved, but that's going to take a little bit of master planning. So the home element is going to be a lot more capital intensive, because this is just program money. It's really just focused on the program itself.
So what happens when we have women that are in crises?
So currently Beloved does, so in our Restore program, which is a residential program, so currently Beloved does own 3 homes and operates those 3 homes where women are housed, and that is for long-term residential services. We partner with other organizations who provide like crisis stabilization and safe homes. There's Freedom Collective, House of Church, there's several organizations that we're in deep partnership with through the state anti-trafficking hotline, that when women are in crisis and need a bed immediately, we work to advocate and place them there. But as far as women that we serve, we do house them, and we do hope if we move our operations to College Park to run the program in this building, we will also be moving those 3 residential homes somewhere within proximity to the office and operate those homes from College Park as well.
Thank you.
Councilmember Gay?
A couple quick things, Mayor and City Manager. I can move my item off the agenda in the interest of time.
Okay.
I'm not quite prepared. But I want to make a point of thought. These are very well-meaning initiatives that council has brought tonight. But I also want us to be mindful of a couple of things. The guys talked about philosophies, right? We also got to find out what we also want to provide as a small city, because on the one hand, you're telling the world to come here because we're an international city. Give you a perfect example. If you were here called Peachtree and Pine, it's a shelter downtown that for years, and this is no reflection on the good work you guys do, but for years, they could not develop downtown because of Peachtree and Pine. I mean, it's a real balance act. I'll give you another example. Right across on Price Street, the state can't even market because of the churches that feed the homeless. So then it also reminds me of City of Atlanta is trying to remove a lot of its unhoused to other locations. I was watching some security people take people from the train, and I was asking, "What are you bringing them here?" And they was like, "Yeah, because we also the last train stop." And so I just want my colleagues to be mindful that as we talk about how we help the unhoused and other people less fortunate, we also got to also understand how we pay our bills and what kind of city we are. Because I'm challenged right now with just a few unhoused that I'm challenged with just trying to manage that. So, and then last but not least, I got into that space, you know, abusers and all that. You're not just protecting the abusers, the people that abuse them come back too. And it becomes, so when you start balancing all of these different initiatives with mental health and security, we just got to keep talking about what we trying to do. I was trying to do a town hall during the winter, and I couldn't do it because we had the room for the, for warming.
Oh.
So we just got to get a balance on how much we can sustain and still provide the services that we said we provide, if that's fair.
Can I have permission to address that?
Go ahead, Ms. Ong.
So I totally hear what you're saying and empathize a lot, actually, because we have to deal with low-income housing, you know, as part of our mission. I will say that this is something that hopefully will alleviate some of the issues, because the lack of programming actually leads to more issues. And so our hope is that if the city invests in these types of programs, that it will actually reduce the amount of these ongoing issues, to be able to essentially, you know, we're talking about things that are already existing. We're not talking about bringing more issues to the city. We're talking about how do we address the things that are already existing, and then provide stable housing and workforce options to elevate their economic mobility. And so partnering with the hotels is a big deal. And I think that actually providing viable, well-paid options for women will help them to move out of a cycle of unhoused poverty into a more economically mobile position, where they can actually start contributing back to the city and to the community. And so that's just my 2 cents, but I hand the floor back.
I'd like to add something as well.
Councilmember McKenzie.
So, and just to piggyback on what Sherry said, the program that we're talking about operating here is the REACH program. And that's a community-based program that offers this continuum of care. I'm just reading, it's a resource-based program. It's kind of like, we have the Odyssey Counseling Center here in College Park, and the purpose of that is because people have mental health needs in our city, and they have somewhere to go to get counseling. It is not a mental institution, it is simply a program where people go and they get the services that they need. And that's exactly what this is. We're not talking about creating a residential program in the city. We are just talking about having a center similar to Ignite, places where people can go and get the resources, get the opportunities to get their lives on track. And that's what attracts me to this program, is the fact that we know that there are needs, and we have all sorts of needs in the city, and this is one of the ways that we address. And again, as you're saying, catching these things, because if not, we will probably find a lot more women who have been abused, dead, in all types of situations in our city. But this becomes a means for them to get assistance, training, and resources to move forward with their lives.
I have a question based on that, because I want to be clear. So that you're actually providing the resources, right? You're not referring people to other resources, correct?
Yes, correct. We are providing clinical services, mental health therapy, case management, also referrals for things that are like medical services, things like that we don't provide, but we do provide case management, crisis intervention. We have therapists that provide clinical mental health services, those types of things.
So from that perspective, you could come back to us in a year and give us data about the people that have gone through your program and have done great work beyond that.
Yes, yes.
I mean, I heard you give some statistics
Yes.
about what's already happened, but,
Mhm.
we'll be able to actually get some
Absolutely.
information.
Yes, yes. So we are really strong in data and measurement and evaluation. That's why I even brought some of those impact numbers from 2025, both for our Reach and Restore programs in terms of like the services that are provided and the measures that we collect to see the success of the program and what the women are doing.
Yeah, data is critically important.
Mhm.
If we're
Yes.
gonna be giving money to something, I think it is absolutely imperative that we understand how that money is being spent and the return on the investment that we're getting. So I appreciate your transparency in that and look forward to that moving forward if the council sees fit. So,
Absolutely.
all right, appreciate it. Thank you so
so
much. We will take a break until 8 p.m. and we will reconvene at that time.